Hey, 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 happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Thursday, May 13th, 2021. This is live stream number 64. Jeez, I'm not even getting the number right. Yes, it is stream 664. Tonight, I am actually going to be taking a first look and paging through Call of Cthulhu. Does Love Forgive? From Chaosium Inc. I will be taking a peek at this after we jump on into the news tonight. So if this is your first time joining me, let me point out that normally what happens is the first half of the show is the latest in tabletop gaming news. Sometimes we talk a little PC gaming, which we will tonight. And then the second half, I'm taking a look at a tabletop game. So it could be a board game, role-playing game, miniatures, rules, you name it. If it's going on your tabletop, we're probably taking a look at it. Of course, those of you out there who watch all the time, thank you very much for joining me once again. Always appreciate that as well. Of course, if you like this video, give it a quick thumbs up. And of course, by all means, subscribe to the channel if you don't or you haven't. Be sure to ding that bell because it will not only let you know when the dispatch streams live, it'll also inform you when I've got other videos I upload as well, such as the upcoming review for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Death on the Reich Companion. I already did review the core book, the main adventure book. I have my companion review on the horizon. Also, do want to mention that my recent first look at Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft for Dungeons and Dragons from Wizards of the Coast is up, and I should have my review done this weekend. I know I'll have it by at least Monday at the latest, but you can still get in the running to win this copy of the alternate art edition. If you check out my first look video, it will tell you how to get into the running. Nice. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. One of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So for tonight, we've got John Vogel was first out the gate, saying hello in chat. Nicholas Stanishek is with us as well. Flaming Herons here. So the first of our two chat moderators is joining us tonight. Very cool. Got to point out, show started off kind of a little frazzled there for a second. I was working on some stuff. Of course, no show yesterday. It was my brother's birthday. We had a good time over by his house with some of my family as well as some of his friends and that. And I was working on some stuff earlier today, and I had everything set up. I'm like, okay, got all I need done. I'm all ready to do the show. I bring up my chat window. Good to go, right? And then right on the hour, 7 o'clock Central Time for me, I start the stream and then I notice, oh crap, I forgot to actually type something into chat saying hello, like happy Thursday, everybody. As soon as I did that, threw me off. Anyway, that's okay. So hopefully everybody's having a good Thursday so far. We're going to dive on into the news because I've got a good amount of news and a nice mix tonight as well. First off, hitting stores this month from Capital Gains Studio is Dirty Money. Here's the scoop. Dirty Money is a 2 to 5 player game set in the world of white-collar crime, where you play as corrupted politicians, loan sharks, and tax cheaters trying to launder their ill-gotten gains. Invest in artwork, businesses, and real estate all around the world while trying to turn dirty money into clean money. Beware of your fellow players who will attempt to expose your operation to the government with a legion of lawyers and accountants. Are you able to avoid the government blacklist while laundering the most amount of money? Players begin the game with a hand of clean and dirty money, and they have to decide to visit a choice of 6 locations to retrieve the dirty money generated in that location. Then they have to decide how to make use of the clean and dirty money to purchase various types of assets within that location or activate location abilities. Once a player accumulates 10 types of investment, the game ends, and each player will score the investments they've bought and deduct the blacklist penalties they've accumulated due to reporting by other players. Dirty Money, once again, is for 2 to 5 players. It's for ages 12 and up, plays in about 30 to 45 minutes, and it's going to carry an MSRP of $26. And I think it's in some stores already. I think it's making its way into other stores a little bit later this month. This is not a company I'm familiar with. I did take a peek at some of their releases, and it looks as if all of their games have some sort of an economic aspect to it, an economic theme to it. So could be one of those games where you're actually having fun and maybe learning something at the same time. Who knows? All right, it is Thursday, so that means we have a free PC game over at the Epic Game Store to pick up. This week brings The Lion Song. Here's the details from Mipumi Games. Taking a stab in the dark on that pronunciation. The Lion Song is set against the backdrop of early 20th century Austria, with every episode following a different character. Each character possesses an exceptional mind, and the game draws players into a story of personal struggle for creativity, human connections, and inspiration. A talented composer suffering from writer's block before her breakthrough concert, an up-and-coming painter growing through his challenges, and a brilliant mathematician trying to make her voice heard in a man's world. The choices players make ultimately determine if the protagonists find the success they're looking for. This is broken up into 4 episodes. The first episode, Silence, tells the story of Wilma, a talented young musical student. Put under immense pressure by her professor, Wilma succumbs to crippling writer's block and is sent to a solitary alpine cabin to recover her inspiration and muse. Episode 2, Anthology, advances into the depths of the human psyche, uncovered by visual artist Franz Makert. Franz is an aspiring painter at the turn of the 20th century, trying to immortalize his name within Vienna's high society. His unique ability to perceive the flaws, fears, and emotions in so-called layers allows him to bring them, layer by layer, onto the canvas. Episode 3, Derivation, dives into the scientific world at the beginning of the 20th century, an era of great achievements, but also dark downfalls. On the eve of World War I, mathematician Emma Rzeznik enters the academic stage to solve a problem revolving around change. In order to discuss her theory with like minded people, Emma tries to gain access to a gentleman's club of famous mathematicians. As her request is denied because of her being a woman, she decides to disguise herself as a man. Closure ties the entire season together. A mysterious train ride revisits all introduced characters, Wilma, Franz, and Emma, and their emotional storylines. It'll take you back into their past and tell you their future destiny. There is a short launch video for the Lion Song, so let's take a peek. The Lion Song is available absolutely free over at the Epic Game Store through 10 a.m. Central Time, May 20th. So for an entire week. It's going to be kind of interesting, especially if you're into story games. This might be worth a peek. Do want to mention that I see that next week brings a mystery game from Epic, and usually when they have a mystery game, it turns out to be pretty good. I think one of the times they did a mystery game, it turned out it was Red Dead Redemption 2. I was like, whoa, that was pretty wild. All right, let's talk about some role-playing games. As Boris joins us in chat. Good to see you, Boris. Welcome aboard. Currently up for crowdfunding is Delvers to Grow for Steve Jackson Games Dungeon Fantasy. This is from Gaming Ballistic. Here's the skinny. 0 to hero with the Dungeon Fantasy RPG. Even the mightiest Delver stands somewhere. And starts, I should say, somewhere. Did I just say stands? Jeez. Yeah, of course, they're standing somewhere. An apprentice, a squire, or man-at-arms, a backup singer with the Backstreet Bards. Delvers to Grow allows you to take the part of those starting characters, supporting starting play as low as 62 points. Delvers to Grow provides pre-built modules and packages, enabling a player to create a capable, playable character in minutes. Get gaming fast. Fully compatible with the professional template system in the Dungeon Fantasy RPG Adventurer's book, Delvers to Grow lets you start much earlier in the hero's journey, letting both players and GMs ease into the full breadth of the capability that the professional delvers of the Dungeon Fantasy RPG bring to the table. Explore different challenges or use the modules to effortlessly, geez, can't speak English tonight. What the heck's going on? I'm making up for a pretty stumble-free episode last night, no doubt. Explore different challenges or use the modules to effortlessly assemble henchmen or create a starting character to replace the dearly departed. The Delvers That Grow project contains 4 volumes, the construction portions plus 3 example books. These detail how each of the 12 professions treated in the Build a Bjorn construction book grow from a 62-point novice to a 187-point master. First, we have Delvers That Grow, the main volume, which contains the building blocks to quickly make characters based on 62, 125, and 187-point templates, conveniently matching the values for hirelings from exploits. Choose a base template, add basic and advanced professional modules, upgrade the character to make them unique, and then choose disadvantage packages. Loadouts and spell lists are also given the package deal treatment to allow fast selection of key equipment and thematic powers. There's Fast Delvers, the Thief, martial artist, swashbuckler, and scout specialize in precision and deadly accuracy. The Fast Delvers book provides examples for each template and profession. This is 16 pages. Then we have Smart Delvers, spellcasters here. The Bard, Cleric, Druid, and Wizard get the Delvers That Grow treatment. Smart Delvers gives examples for creating and tuning spellcasters. Also 16 pages. Then we have Strong Delvers. Want to be a mountain of meat? It's like, okay. I am a mountain of meat. Well, if you want to be, you can. The Barbarian, Holy Warrior, Knight, and Wrestler professions get the workout, the loadout, and the keen edge they need to hit the dungeon fast. Also clocks in at 16 pages. There is also a full adventure included in this package for Kickstarter. This project is nearing its funding goal. It hasn't hit it yet. You can reserve a copy of the physical release of the various different books, plus the adventure, as well as PDFs, for a $70 pledge, or you can grab just the PDFs alone for a $35 pledge through May 25th. Expected delivery of the physical books is this September, whereas the PDFs should be out in July. So pretty quick turnaround for that as well. I decided I would share this because I don't see a lot of third-party content for Dungeon Fantasy, which in essence is fantasy GURPS from Steve Jackson Games. And I know Gaming Ballistic does do some adventures and things like that. So if you are a fan of Dungeon Fantasy, which is also kind of the fantasy trip at the same time, give it a peek. Definitely give it a look. So Keldon is joining us in chat once again. Thanks for swinging on by. So Flaming Heron says, because Boris said, hit the like button, guys. Flaming Heron said, first thing I always do. And sometimes thinks that YouTube is wacky. The likes don't show right unless you remove your like and like the video again. That's kind of weird. I did not know that. I have not noticed that in the past. So yeah, that's kind of weird. Like it, unlike it, and then like it so it shows up. Alrighty. So Boris says GURPS is awesome. GURPS is crunchy. That is for certain there. I don't know of too many systems. I know there are a few. There's a handful that are crunchier than GURPS. Some of them are unplayable because they're so crunchy. But yeah, I used to pick up tons of GURPS books. And the funny thing is, I would pick up all these source books, and I never ran GURPS. But I would still pick them up because I was like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks cool. And they would always have different series, like from books and things like that. So they had Alan Dean Foster's Flinks and Pip adventures, if you recall those science fiction stories. They had Wild Cards. George R.R. Martin had edited that shared world anthology that I was a huge fan of. So yeah, I used to pick up GURPS stuff all the time, but never actually ran it. All right, let's move right along. There is a new source book for the Infinity role-playing game, which has arrived from Modiphius Entertainment. Here's the dope on Nomads, Anything But the Norm, Bakunun, Corregidor, Tunguska, 3 gigantic motherships, 1 diverse nation, each traversing the human sphere as they see fit in order to deliver their own unique blends of chaos and color to the distinctly bland lives of their planetary cousins. A nomad nation with one unified purpose: to stick it to the establishment. Often viewed as little more than a collection of criminals, misfits, and thugs by the censored citizens of the other G5 nations, the nomads themselves tell a very different story if ever given the chance. Life is hard on the motherships because it has to be. Space is a premium, and even the air costs money on Corregidor. Every nomad gladly pays the price, however, for every single one of them knows it is part of the cost of their freedom, their liberty to be who they want to be in their lives, in whatever body they choose to live it, with no one to judge and very few strictures to observe. They're all fiercely proud to be the only remaining souls still free of the oppressive will of Aleph, who they view as humanity's greatest threat. Progressive, rebellious, independent, passionate, and bizarre are just a few of the monikers that encapsulate the nomad spirit. Never standing still and always changing, the nomad nation hops from system to system on board their motherships, selling their unique services to the highest bidders and keeping their secrets away from the prying eyes of the sole AI within their own chaotic datasphere, Arachne. Each mothership is also fully prepared to deploy their own capable troops should anyone be foolish enough to try and snoop. With guidance on creating nomad characters, new gear to tinker with, and extreme body modifications to indulge in, this sourcebook delves into the excesses of the nomad nation as never before. Details on each of the motherships, from their turbulent histories and the ghosts of their pasts to the secrets of their inner workings, are included. There's also focused life paths that allow players to create truly unique and individual nomad characters, plus an additional chapter to cater for the ultimate in extreme body modification. There's additional armor, equipment, and adversaries specific to the nomads, including Praxis-designed augmentations, nomad-specific armor and weapons and stats for several unique adversaries. There's advice on creating uplifts, plus an entire chapter dedicated to the virtually undeniable rating and ranking system that drives lifestyles and transactions on Bakunin, social energy. The 124-page Infinity Nomad softcover sourcebook is going to carry an MSRP of $24. The PDF is out right now. You can pick that up over at Drive-Thru RPG for $12. I am not overly familiar with the Infinity role-playing game. I do know it is based on the miniatures game from, isn't it Corvus Belli? I think that's, yeah, in fact, it's right there on the image. Like, yeah, I think that's who does it. But I always see these books and the artwork always looks pretty good, pretty cool artwork. And the other thing I always notice is the game books tend to be a little lower cost than I'm used to seeing for the page count. So kind of interesting. But yeah, I guess if you're really looking for some pretty cool science fiction, then by all means, check it out. So Flaming Heron mentioned that in GURPS, you need to be selective. They only ever had a few source books that they ever used consistently. Yeah, I know, because GURPS, you can get really bogged down in the minutia. Gary Clarkson's joined us tonight. Good to see you, Gary. Thanks for popping in to chat with us. All right, my final news piece, now available in print and PDF, is The Big Book of Amazing Tales from Martin Lloyd. Here's the details. The Big Book of Amazing Tales is a collection of adventures for the Amazing Tales role-playing game. Altogether, you'll find 17 adventures split across 4 campaigns. The Big Book of Amazing Tales is packed with illustrations by Iris Mertens and A.U. Marquez or Marquez. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing both those names. The book also includes a selection of handouts specifically designed for kids to make, solve, and color in. In the Big Book of Amazing Tales, you'll find A Dream of Trees, a campaign set in the deep, dark wood. Can a band of fairy heroes help a young girl escape her foes and realize her destiny? A Dream of Trees is suitable for the very youngest adventurers. The Quest for the Dragon Crown, a campaign set in a magical kingdom long ago. The kingdom of Meridown is threatened by dragons, and only the legendary Dragon Crown can save it. If only anyone knew where it was. Captain Kadava's Treasure, a campaign set on the pirate seas. The chance discovery of a treasure map puts the heroes on the track of the legendary treasure of Captain Kadava. But is all as it seems? And then we have the Cryptid Conundrum, a campaign set among the stars. The Planetary Alliance is threatened by an unknown enemy. Just who are the cryptids? Why have they kidnapped the head of the Space Rangers? And can anybody solve the fiendish puzzles they have left behind? The puzzles in the Cryptid Conundrum are aimed at older players, ages 8 and up. The Big Book of Amazing Tales also contains Rescue City, which is a brand new, thrilling setting for Amazing Tales, where the heroes are people you might meet just walking down the street. Join the medics, police officers, and firefighters and do your part to protect the citizens of Rescue City. Rescue City is specifically written as a setting for creating non-violent Amazing Tales. There's Amazing Lessons, a guide for teachers who want to incorporate Amazing Tales into their teaching, written by primary school teacher and King of Dungeons author Baz Stevens. Then there's Gaming is Therapy, a guide for parents who want to use Amazing Tales to help their children reach their full potential, written by practicing child therapist Lily Smith. Do want to mention you need the Amazing Tales core book in order to use this supplement. The 224-page book is available as a premium hardcover from Drive-Thru RPG for $42.95, or you can score just the PDF alone for $9.95. Nice. I believe I might be actually getting a review copy of the Big Book of Amazing Tales to do a review of. There's also another role-playing game that is out from Martin Lloyd. I will talk about that on Monday. So some of you out there who have followed the Gaming Gang for quite some time, Amazing Tales might ring a bell with you because it was that game book that I was reviewing back when I would do reviews on the live show. And I started having a heart attack at the end of the show. I mean, you can't tell. I mean, you can watch the episode. You really can't tell. But yeah, later on that afternoon, I was in the hospital. So, yes, that's why Martin Lloyd reached out to ask if I'd be interested in reviewing both the Big Book of Amazing Tales as well as this other new role-playing game that's part of the Amazing Tales series. The first thing I thought was, it's like, all righty. So, of course, last two news pieces, I was talking about Drive-Thru RPG. And, of course, the Gaming Gang, plus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So, if you are going to go visit, say, I don't know, Drive-Thru RPG, by all means, visit thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads, and that way, if you happen to make a purchase, you will actually help me out because I'll get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Should mention through the 17th, Drive Through RPG is in the midst of their science fiction sale. So right now, give you an example. I was talking about the Infinity Nomads. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it's on sale right now for the PDF is like $8.03. So a lot of stuff about 25% off. So if you're into science fiction role playing, this is when you want to go pick up your PDFs. That is for sure. So Flaming Huron says, not happy memories from Amazing Tales. The funny thing is, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was for what it is designed for. It is designed as an introduction to role playing for younger kids. But it didn't like talk down to either the players or the game master. I thought it was really, really well done. I gave it a 9 out of 10. And then, yes, sort of like, yeah, don't want to bring that back. So we shall see. We shall see if I get to review those or not. All right. Anyway, zipping right along. That was pretty quick news. About 30 minutes. So at this point in time, if you are watching after the stream ends, 12 hours or more after the stream ends, you are going to see a video ad right now. But if you are watching live right now, we're jumping right on in to Call of Cthulhu, Does Love Forgive from Chaosium Inc. It's written by Lynn Hardy, Eris Kaminska, Anna Marie Mazer, with artwork provided by Marcin Lesniak. This 62-page book is available for $12.95. It is a soft cover. You can grab the PDF right now over at Drive-Thru RPG for $5.99. So we're going to swing on over to the other camera because here I have Does Love Forgive? Let's get the shrink wrap off of this. Cut down on some of that glare. So Flaming Heron says, "You're all good now, Jeff. That's all that matters." Yeah, I'm doing okay. I gotta drop weight. I put on weight and something with my thyroid. I'm on medication for my thyroid too. And not to get like too into this stuff, but I was told take the medication on an empty stomach, which I had been told previously by doctors an empty stomach is no food. That's it. It's just no food. Here I find out because, I get up in the morning and I take some pills in the morning. I take some pills before I go to bed. But I take the thyroid medication because it says in the morning on an empty stomach. And I will have a couple of cups of coffee in the morning. And then I don't eat anything until like 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock. And I get up at 9:30 in the morning. I know for most people, you're like, wow, that's nice. You get to sleep in. Well, then I find out that caffeine just kind of stops this thyroid medication from working. If I'm like drinking coffee after I take the pill, like for crying out loud. Like, thanks a lot. Why didn't anybody tell me this? I found that out on my own. So, anyway, let's look at the back here. I'm not going to read everything on here, but it's these are two one-on-one scenarios for Call of Cthulhu. Does Love Forgive is a collection of two scenarios for Call of Cthulhu for one keeper and one player. Both adventures are perfect for a fun evening of gaming for two people. Each scenario can be played over the course of 1 or 2 sessions and is suitable for keepers of all experience levels. First, we have Love You to Death, Chicago, February 15th, 1929. It's a cold winter's day when the investigator's good friend, Hattie Mae, appears in their office at the detective agency. Her beloved pet dog, Highball, okay, and her other dog, Manhattan, Highball is scheduled to be destroyed later today, and she needs the investigators' help getting him back from the Chicago Police Department. It doesn't sound like too difficult a task, does it? So wait a second. February 15th, 1929, that would be the day after the St. Valentine's Day massacre. I'm almost positive. So I'm taking a guess that might have something in this adventure as well. And then I have to laugh because it says Hattie Mae. I had an Aunt Hattie who probably was around, in her 20s, 1929. Kind of funny. Then we've got Mask of Desire, New York, September 1932. The investigator, together with their two close friends, Anna Conrad and Lucas Reston, have been invited to a party at wealthy and notorious socialite Madame de Tisson's swanky apartment on the Upper West Side. Anna is somewhat distracted by her audition tomorrow for a famous jazz orchestra. What is the link between the audition and a mysterious parcel that arrives the next day? And why do so many people seem to be interested in the contents of the parcel? The supplement is best used with Call of Cthulhu. Oh, you can use it with the starter set. That's kind of funny. Everything that is coming out from Call of Cthulhu, they're always saying, well, you can just use the starter set. That starter set is, not like tons of rules. So that's kind of cool. Or, of course, you can use the 7th edition. All right. So Boris says, what's love got to do with it? I know. I kept joking with that. All right. So let's crack this baby open here. We're going to take a look. So as you can see, we've got the Chaosium 7th edition Call of Cthulhu look to everything here. Of course, if you had just watched Tuesday's live stream when I took a peek at Horror on the Orient Express, you could see the really stark contrast that 7th edition has with 6th edition. Even though I do want to point out, I wasn't sure, but I did find out after the fact that Horror on the Orient Express is statted for 7th edition. So there is that. All right, so let's see. Love Story. Originally, these scenarios were released in Poland by Black Monk Games for February 14th, 2020. Unsurprisingly, this loose connecting motif is love in one form or another. By their very nature, one-to-one scenarios tend to be more intense experiences than games involving larger groups. So there are some extra considerations to take into account when running and playing them, especially with that underlying theme. Nice. Love You to Death. This is the one that takes place right there. Look at that. Designed for a keeper and single player, set in Chicago on February 15th, 1929, one day after the St. Valentine's Day massacre. And you saw this was in shrink. I just took the shrink wrap off of this. I was positive that was right. This is a story about true friendship, unrequited love, and gangsters where not everything is what it seems. Okay, so then it's also talking about creating the investigator for this adventure. I'm going to take a guess. We might have some pre-gens as well. So it's saying that the investigator should be based in Chicago, where actually when I run my Call of Cthulhu games, that's where they tend to be based out of. Every once in a while, I'll do Miskatonic out of Arkham, Miskatonic University, but normally my player characters are from the Chicago area. All right, cool. Talking about their childhood? Huh. All right, and then we got some handouts. So, of course, do want to point out that there will be some spoilers here. So, if you are a player hoping that your keeper is going to run one of these two adventures for you, see you next week. See ya. Sarah Dees popped into chat to say hi. Says, Brooke, got that shrink wrap machine again, Jeff? Yes, I did. Yes, because I was kidding around the other night. I have had people, I had a person email me telling me that, oh, I must have a shrink wrap machine. And what I do is when I do my unboxings and stuff, I've actually opened up the game and read through the rule book and then reshrank it with the wrap so that I could look like so smart when I guess at stuff. And it's like, seriously? Because there's a lot of times I guess at things, taking a look at games, and I am absolutely wrong. So, all right. So we've got some of our NPCs. Here we go, talking about the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Got the police station talking about getting highball released. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Actually, you don't see it because I'm picture up here. So there's a kind of a spoiler that's up here that in the upper left corner that you're not seeing. All right, and then we get our conclusion here. We get a couple of new spells, get characters and monsters, and then we have Mark of Desire. This looks like this is a little longer adventure here. I should say Mark. It's a Mask of Desire. Mask of Desire is designed for a keeper and one player. There are two key themes at the heart of this story: discovering your own identity and the price you are willing to pay to achieve your goal. Both played out against a backdrop of malign mythos influence. So some interesting facts about masks. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. So we got some handouts there. We've got our NPCs. This adventure takes place, or at least one of the key points of this is a dinner party or cocktail party, I guess. Although that would be in 1932. I think we still do have prohibition going on, which didn't stop anybody. So a lot of people don't realize, especially if you don't live in the United States, that prohibition did not make the possession of alcohol illegal. So you could make homemade wine if you wanted, and many people did, especially Italian families. You could make your own alcohol. There was nothing illegal about it. It was illegal to sell and transport alcohol. So, all right. So we got some characters and monsters, or collected handouts. Maybe we don't have pre-generated characters in this. One aspect of Call of Cthulhu that I've always loved is the handouts and how they really draw you in. And I don't think there was another role-playing game before Call of Cthulhu that did this. That you had all these various different clues and handouts that you would receive throughout the game. And I remember running Masters of Nyarlathotep way back in the day. And my players all had... They had a file they would keep all this stuff in. So Boris said pre-gens equal disposable heroes. Edward Romero has joined us. Good to see you, Edward. Thanks for swinging on in. It says all heroes are disposable in Call of Cthulhu. Kinda. All right, so we got author biographies here. We've got some character sheets. It's just the 1920s era investigator sheets. And we've got some ads. So, Malus Monstrorum, I have already reviewed. Gateways to Terror, I have not. Doors of Darkness, I have not. Peterson's Abominations, I have not. And discussing the Chaosium. Where does Chaosium come from? So where does the name come from? Nice. I will have a review of this shortly because it's simply 2 adventures, 64 pages. I can crank through this pretty quickly. Once again, Call of Cthulhu Does Love Forgive clocks in at 64 pages. It's available for $12.95. You can get the PDF at Drive-Thru RPG for $5.99. So Kevin Smith says that all characters are disposable in one-shots. Yes, that is very, very true. They are always disposable in one-shots. And even more so, they are vastly disposable in tournament games. Tournament games are like the biggest disposable character. Like bucket, I guess we'll say. All right. So Kevin Smith says that Chaosium comes from chaos in the Oakland Coliseum. Is that really true? Let's take a look. I mean, because Chaosium is out of San Francisco. I don't know if they're still out of San Francisco. They used to be. No, they're not saying anything on that on the back. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin's right. That's where they came up with it. So, Mr. Eddie T has popped in as well as we're getting ready to wrap up the show tonight. Pretty quick show. Zipped along pretty good. So what's happening next week? Shifting more over to our usual sort of schedule. This was Call of Cthulhu week here on the Dispatch. So I figured I had 3 Call of Cthulhu releases for us to look at. And I was doing 3 shows this week. So I thought, hey, okay, that makes sense. Kevin says that's what they read in Designers and Dragons. That is a pretty good series. I've read those. I really enjoyed those. Although, Shannon Appleseed, there's a phrase that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a phrase that they use just constantly over and over and over and over and over again in each one of the books. And it's like, oh my gosh, please stop using this phrase. I am so tired of this phrase. Can't remember what it was though, but it's really obvious when you're reading it and you're like, again? So, but the rest of it's awesome. Really, really good stuff about the history of role-playing games from essentially the 1970s through the aughts. All right. Anyway, Kevin says supposedly Greg Stafford lived across from the Coliseum when he founded the company. Nice. Very cool. I have been to the Oakland Coliseum. It is kind of a dump. Gotta be honest. I heard, especially for, I think, the ball players, that the locker rooms flood all the time. And it's like, geez. Anyway, next week on Monday, I am going to unbox and take a first look at Mandala Stones, which is from Board and Cards. So this is hitting stores. I think it's out in some stores already. This looks to be an abstract game. So we will be taking a look at that. Then on Tuesday's show, we are going to dive into Dive, which is from Sit Down Games. This is hitting stores. I think it's still on pre-order for most of the online web stores. So I think this is hitting later this month, early next month. And this is the game that has the like transparent, like almost like tiles that you're actually building. So that you're like building levels. So we're going to take a look at that. Wednesday, War Game Wednesday, we're going to crack open Undaunted North America from Osprey Games. That's right. This just won. Board Game Geeks. I want to say it's their war game of the year or 2-player war game. I know it won a Board Game Geek award. And then on Thursday, we're going to take a peek and page through Mutant Crawl Classics from Goodman Games. So remember, I had a bit of a poll going on Twitter a few weeks ago asking which would you rather see me review, Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls or Mutant Crawl Classics, and it was super neck and neck. So I decided, okay, I'll do both because I'm interested in both. Something else I should mention, if you want to see me review something, say for an example, role-playing games, because I know quite a few people out there really like to hear my thoughts about RPGs. Reach out to the company that you want to see me review stuff from. If a potential customer or a customer of that company contacts them, they're far more likely to reach out to me and check out some of the stuff that I do and check out the website, as opposed to me just coming out of nowhere to them. So do want to mention that because I get quite a few people asking me, hey, have you ever considered reviewing XYZ? And a lot of times they're role-playing games. And, my response is, I have like no budget. So there's no budget here, folks. So it was a big deal that I picked up Mutant Crawl Classics and Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls to do reviews for them. But keep that in mind. Plus, if you ever see one of my reviews or news pieces or anything like that led you to purchase a game, let that company know. Once again, if you're a customer saying, hey, I heard about this from Jeff's show or Jeff's website, the Gaming Gang, they're going to be like, who? What? Because, even though I've been doing this now, I'm in my 11th year, there are a lot of companies, a lot of people out there have no idea who I am. They have no idea who the Gaming Gang is, anything like that. So, all right. Anyway, once again, if you like this video, by all means, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. If you do, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Death on the Reich Companion from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Also, don't forget, check out my first look at Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft if you would like to win this copy of the alternate art edition. I will send this anywhere that I can ship things from the U.S. So if you're watching in North Korea, like that's happening. Sorry, you can't get in the running. But if you check out my first look video, I will tell you how you can have a chance to win this. You only have through Sunday, because I'm going to announce the winner on Monday's show. Mr. Eddie T says that my reviews are his favorites. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I still need to figure out a way to shorten them up. Sometimes I just, I don't script anything. So it's a stream of consciousness for the most part. All right. Those of you who watch live, thank you very much. Always appreciate you taking some time out to kick back with me while we take a look at various different tabletop gaming news pieces and games themselves. Of course, I do know a lot of people out there don't have an opportunity to watch the stream live. Many of them watch after the fact. Hey, I love that too. Even if you're watching on Memorex, thank you very, very much. I really, really do appreciate anybody who spends time watching any of these videos. If you didn't watch, I wouldn't have any reason to make these. So, all right. So, no show on Friday. If you follow the dispatch, you already know that. So, I will once again be back on Monday. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday night or Friday morning or whatever day it happens to be that you're watching this. And of course, as I wrap up all my videos during this maybe not so never-ending pandemic anymore, regardless, still be smart, stay safe. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, if you haven't subscribed to the Gaming Gang channel yet, click right here. If you'd like to see the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, click right up there. And if you want to trust YouTube's algorithm to give you something to watch, click right there. Once again, thanks so much for watching, and everybody please wear a mask.